Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I got a request over the weekend to show my entire strategic metal hoard. Right, I mostly have bismuth, zinc, pewter, and then a small amounts of other metals. And uh, I like to. This is my storage unit, so I got a good rate on this. Actually, it's in a weird part of town, but at least I get a good rate. I don't come here very often, anyhow. And I call this the Fort Dislike Strategic Metal Depository. That's what I call it. And it's probably one of the largest private holdings of strategic, especially bismuth. Maybe not zinc because people do have coin collections, but of bismuth for sure. Probably one of the largest private holdings of bismuth ever in the world, considering how rare that metal is, right? It's not all of it because I have a bunch in consignment shops and some ongoing projects at home, obviously, but it's a sizable amount. The little knickknacks I make, the coins, the small Buddhas, are here. The large Buddhas and Ganeshas and geodes, you're not seeing them around because they're under the lightweight stuff. Right on top of that, I put the canvases. It's kind of difficult to arrange. One thing I really despise about storage units, if I could have it my way, this amount of volume is pretty good. I'll let you pause the video to think how this layout might be arranged to make things much better but take up the same amount of real estate. Well, I wish it were half as tall, but wider, right? So look at it this way. I rent 192, somebody else rents 191. Imagine instead of it being one unit, the second unit, it could be one unit down here and then a second unit up here, and then maybe have a small like a step ladder or something to get to the top unit, right? And so I'd even rent the top unit, even though it would be a little bit less convenient if it were arranged like that. That would look a lot more beautiful if it were in that, and I could probably put a lot more stuff in there, right? Just a little thought out there. It's a thought experiment. If you're working on construction, building a storage unit, you could probably advertise that you're doing something like that. It could be very useful, especially for people storing heavy stuff. If you're storing clothes, it probably doesn't matter very much, right? Uh, so here, my favorite thing to pour out of zinc are these Buddhas. I got a few more here. That Buddha mold holds up very well, even with zinc, which has a considerably higher melting point than bismuth. I've gotten almost 1,000 pours without a problem with that mold. So each one of these takes up about $1.50 worth of pennies. And while doing that, I pull out a lot of copper pennies. I haven't found a good way to make use of these. I hope to eventually pour stuff out of copper as well. There's a bunch of bismuth geodes. My Mondrian squares. I hope to eventually do some Mondrian squares out of real gold and silver foil, believe it or not. It's not that expensive, actually. And then some odds and ends, right? My winter clothing is here. I probably won't even make use of it this year because of all the heat waves going on, right? All right. So there you have it. The Fort Dislike Bullion Depository here in Phoenix, Arizona. One of the largest private holdings of bismuth in the world, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.